Officers have been on a bullhorn down there telling these folks to disperse, to go back home.
It was meant to be inclusive, meant to bring members of the community together, but it didn't take long for scenes like this, a Rite Aid set on fire, to develop. That's the one thing they really don't want people doing. You can see how dark it is. Well, Logan, this all started when Clifton Forge police arrived here in the 900 block of Jefferson Avenue to do a welfare check. Looking through the window of a home, they found the man they were looking for lying dead on the ground inside. And if you look down here on the ground, you can see a tear gas canister that police were using to disperse these protesters. If we back it up and move across the sidewalk, we'll see one of the chunks of brick that was a choice weapon for many of the protesters out here. And if you look behind me, you can see the results, shattered windows up and down Broad Street. This is the reality that many business owners are facing, the result of these clashes that we saw not only here, but across the city.
We saw heard just off to our left here, a couple of shots being fired. They're off into the park, about a dozen or 15 or so shots, and that really brought in this enormous police presence you can see here this evening. Officers not just from the Lynchburg area, but Pittsylvania County Sheriff's Department vehicles there as well. There you hear that sound in the background. Another either tear gas grenade, flashbang grenade. Now there's not just snow on me, there's even, look at this, snow in the grass. Could it be true? Yes, we do have snow in the grass. Seeing that as those temperatures drop.
And that's where we find WDBJ7's Eric Miller live tonight. Eric, what do we know about the victims in this shooting?
Well, Logan, we know earlier this afternoon they were brought here to Carilion Roanoke Memorial Hospital. We're still working to learn more about the condition of all four of those victims. And what we can say about the scene back on Roar is that it has cleared up after 5.5 hours. Roanoke City Police took down that caution tape and have reopened the two blocks from 14th to 16th that were still closed. Still, they spent most of today combing over roads, sidewalks, and lawns, trying to find evidence in this case.
In the aftermath of a quadruple shooting Wednesday, tensions ran high. 4 people had to be rushed to the hospital, family forced to watch from outside the caution tape. Police came to this normally quiet Southwest Roanoke neighborhood right around 4:30 p.m. for a shots fired call. They found one person shot inside a home, then 3 more nearby.
It's a sad day in our community.
Roanoke Mayor Sherman Lee says his prayers are with the friends and family of those affected and believes the pandemic has played a role in increasing the number of shootings in the city.
We're seeing a number of things that are happening in our community that's not typical Roanoke.
Police say the incident remains under investigation.
Now, we spoke to multiple neighbors out there on Roar throughout the afternoon and into this evening. They told us they heard more than a dozen gunshots out there today. One woman we spoke with just a few minutes ago said that she is angry at both police and city leaders and feels like more needs to be done to curb gun violence in the city.
Yeah.
Logan?
Understandably so. Eric, before I let you go, the man that was at the beginning of your story who was being pushed back across the police line by police, any idea who that man was?
Well, Logan, as best we could tell, listening to him and that sort of confrontation he was having with officers there, he was identifying himself as the husband of one of the victims here this afternoon. We're still waiting to get that officially confirmed. But obviously, a scene like that, right after a shooting has happened, as you're scrambling to get details, get information, that's going to be a very emotional time. And we saw that play out there today.
Yeah, another shooting in Roanoke. Eric Miller, live for us tonight outside Carilion Memorial. Thank you.
Let me stack them.
Life has its ups.
Up, up, up.
And downs.
Down. They went down.
Even for an 18-month-old like Sawyer Sheeler. And his mom, Lauren, will tell you he's fought through it all.
When I was 20 weeks pregnant, we went in for a routine anatomy scan, and we found out that day that Sawyer was going to have Down syndrome and that he was going to be born with a major heart defect.
As a result, Sawyer had to have heart surgery just a few months after he was born.
Can you show me your scar?
While Sawyer recovered, Lauren worried. What would happen if his heart didn't heal and her son needed a transplant? Her research led her to a surprising answer.
I just thought that wasn't fair.
Sawyer could be discriminated against because of his Down syndrome. According to the National Council on Disability, organ transplant centers may categorically refuse to evaluate a patient with a disability as a candidate for transplant.
So I was just like, let me find out how to make a law.
I think discrimination for anyone with a disability should never be tolerated.
That led her to State Senator Todd Pillion.
The Sheeler family came to us this past fall and they had discovered that this was a problem.
Pillion set to work on a bill in the Senate, with 5th District Delegate Israel O'Quinn putting together another version in the House. The bill would prohibit discrimination against people with physical or mental disabilities on the organ transplant list. Lauren watched the bill move through committee, then out onto the Senate and House floors, where she was in for another surprise.
I just said to myself, maybe this world is going to be more accepting of him than I thought. I was celebrating wildly when it passed unanimously.
This bill proves to us, even in the most contentious of times, that we can still work together for the good of the Commonwealth and get good things accomplished for the betterment of everyone.
That's what this bill represents, that every life is worth life-saving measure. Yeah.
The bill is now awaiting Governor Ralph Northam's signature. Officially, it's called HB 1273. Unofficially, it's called Sawyer's Law.
He has been the biggest blessing of my life. He truly has.